Uh, our NFL our NFL picks this weekend, Casino. NFL picks update. You won the week.
Of course I
Uh,
did.
let's hold on. We actually tied the week
I
with
got blowout.
you tied the week where we both got 9 correct picks. However, you nailed the blowout of the week, which
Yeah, I
was
did.
Lions Titans. You also got upset of the week, which was Cardinals beating Dolphins.
I did.
So I said there was going to be no upset of the week, so I didn't pick it. And then I really thought the blowout of the week would be Chiefs Raiders. So as it stands right now,
Mhm.
Casino is in the lead 75 to my 69.
Nice.
Nice. So that is how our
Mhm.
picks go. Now, Casino, let's move on. I changed the name of when we talk about these games because I was like, Marquee Miserable. I'm not going to put 2 clips of those a week, right? We're talking about both. So instead, let's talk about the best of the week. And the best of the week, if we have to talk about it, Casino, is of course the Bears Commanders game. And what happened on first off the let's start at the end and we'll work our way backwards. The game ends on just a rocket of a throw by
Dude,
um
he threw that. He stepped into that at the 35-yard line.
and it reached about the 5-yard line and then deflected off a Bears defender's hand into the waiting arms of a Commander's wide receiver for them to win the game on a Hail Mary. The last play of the game, they win 18-15. Uh, Thoughts on just this game as a whole, Casino?
It was fun. I liked it. It was, you had the top 2 quarterbacks, number 1 overall, number 2 overall picks. Um, Very entertaining. This was one that I had circled where I thought was gonna be a really fun game to watch. Um,
Also, a game we would have picked completely different if on Thursday we thought Jaden Daniels was playing.
because we picked
Because
the
if you
Bears,
go
right?
back, we both picked the Bears, and our
Right.
reasoning was that Jaden Daniels was going to be out of this game, and we were talking up Mariota. So yeah, but if he was in, both you and I definitely would have picked the Commanders because we are both not high on the Bears.
Right, and you know what? Jane Daniels actually did really well.
Yeah, well, it was announced, I believe, on Saturday, maybe Friday, that or it might have even been later than that. It felt like really late that Jaden Daniels would be in this game, and he was, and he played pretty damn good game.
Yeah, I
21
mean,
38,
the
326
percentage wasn't
touchdown.
great, but again, you protect the football, you move the football, 326 yards, off of
Also
21.
52 rushing. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Like
you did what you needed to do. You came in, you protected the football. It was a fun game. It was a fun game.
And
Um,
then the Noah Brown caught the 52-yard touchdown off a deflected pass from the Bears defender who was
so
not in the
Tyreek
play.
Tyreek Stevenson. If you haven't seen it, look it up. I mean, here, if I have time, I'll try to find it and post it on one of our sites. Um, I didn't watch the first half of all the football games because we had our anniversary party for work on the 26th. So I didn't get home till like 4 a.m. I was out. I didn't wake up till like halfway through all the games. Um, but anyway, yeah. So Tyreek Stevenson is in the end zone, thinking the play is done, thinking his team got it done, and he is just taunting every Washington fan. Looks over, realizes the game's still going on, runs over to the play, and without like while still running, he doesn't stop and like wait for the ball to get there. It was bang bang, runs over there, jumps up, tips it, and great awareness by the Commanders guy that caught it,
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown, because he stepped back. He stepped back and just waited for it to come to him, and he just stood there, and it just landed right in his arms like a little baby. Just got it. It was absolutely insane. I love Caleb Williams throwing a fit. See, this is all right. So this is where I can tell if I like a player or not. It's big moment stuff like that where Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah, you lost, but don't you're a leader on that team. Don't act like a child on the sideline. You know, don't
Yeah,
act,
but
be
Brady was the king of this. Brady was the king of being an upset little baby at the end of games he loses.
no, I
Look at
mean,
every Super Bowl he ever lost, which I get are different circumstances, but he also would always get shit for breaking, for throwing shit and
we're not
yelling at
talking about
people.
him right now. All right? We're not talking about him. We're talking about Caleb Williams. Okay? All right? Sounds good. Um, anyway, sounds good.
Ugh.
But yeah, so that happened, and I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was phenomenal. And you
Also, there's a weird conspiracy theory where when the camera is following Caleb Williams down the sideline, and he's, yeah, rightfully, I would say, pissed off, there is, for some reason, a shot of Keenan Allen standing there, and he's like smiling and like really enjoying it. So I don't know, something, nothing, probably nothing, but
no,
still
it's
weird.
one of those like in disbelief, kind of like really.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those things. Um, but yeah, no, Commanders 6-2. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
But yeah, also the game itself up to that point was pretty good. And then there has been talks, always after something like this happens, it's like anonymous sources around the NFL, like when it comes to coaching and stuff like that, they're like, we're going to be showing this film of like what not to do on a Hail Mary
Well, so
and
you know
blah,
what?
blah, blah, blah,
I
blah.
don't understand when I watch Hail Marys, it always happens where everybody's bunched up and the ball gets batted somewhere away. I would just have one person stand behind the entire pile the whole time and
Yeah.
just have everybody just try to bat it. That's it.
Well,
Don't
what
try to catch the football, just try to bat it. Like, have 3 players, have 1 on each side and 1 behind, you know? Just do that, and you just try to have, like, 2 of your receivers or 3, 2 receivers or whatever it is, just try to jump up and bat the ball. Like,
yeah.
don't try to catch it. When you try to catch it, that's gonna be the issue when every other player on the defense is trying to knock the ball down, you
Well,
know?
that's what they always say for the defenders. Like the issue is if you try to catch it, where all you're trying to do is just like swat it forward, just like swat it down, right? Because if you try to catch it, then stuff like this happens. And I don't even think the Bears defender was trying to catch it. It looked like he just barely got like his finger on it to try to like alter where it was going, but you're just supposed to like paw it down. So this doesn't happen where you hit the ball and then it ricochets into somebody else's arms. But I've also never understood on the Hail Mary why everybody gets bunched up together. Wouldn't you want like all your wide receivers spread out and then for them all to just go for the ball? So then maybe you catch a defender slipping or you do a double move on him or something like that. I don't know. But again, I feel like Hail Marys are a 50% better chance to win the game than it's the end of the game. Let's try to do 50 laterals, right? Like the 50 laterals thing never works. Where it's just like, let's
It
just keep.
worked once.
Yeah, but that was like a fluke where the other team caught the lateral. That wasn't like your team trying to do the lateral and they succeeded. It was like
No, but
your team
it was more
fumbled.
no, it
Yeah.
was no, Miami did the lateral, and
I was thinking of the Raiders,
no,
one.
they were expecting the Hail Mary, so they put Gronk all the way back there, and they started doing the lateral, and Gronk got beat down the corner.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other lateral that beat your team. But now, Casino, actually, speaking of your team, I put that as one of the best of the week because
Let's
the
go.
Jets, being the Jets, and now this is our favorite time of the year, which is to shit on Aaron Rodgers because the New England Patriots win 25-26. They are now 2-6, much like the Jets are 2-6. Again, a thing that before the start of the season, they were projected to win the AFC East, and both you and I were like, how? Why? What have you seen from this Jets team that makes you think they're going to win this division? But in this game, Aaron Rodgers, 17 for 28, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns. Actually, a pretty good game. But your New England Patriots end up pulling out the game. I mean, Drake May, you said it yourself. He gets
He
absolutely KO'd.
he got hit. He's out. They're taking precaution. Keep him out. Yeah, and then so Jacoby Brissett came back in, got the job done. Wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. Got the job done. That's all I got to say on that. He got the job done.
And then the weirdest thing from this game that everybody started digging into was that the Jets used all their timeouts in like the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. So obviously you get three each half. So they use all three within 5 minutes of the game. And so somebody on Twitter, Pat Thorman, dug this up. This is Aaron Rodgers' offense play call seconds remaining at the snap compared to all other quarterbacks in the league since 2020. He is dead last, meaning he snaps the ball with the least amount of time consistently over the last 4 years with the least seconds remaining on the clock, which when you're on a team that doesn't know your audibles or what you're trying to call, or I don't know, when you maybe fired your head coach and have an interim head coach, that leads to not knowing the play, the players not knowing the audibles. So again, you either have to get a bunch of delay of games or use all your timeouts and then get delay of games, which is pretty much what happened in this game. So the Aaron Rodgers experiment in New York, I mean, did anybody, well, obviously Vegas did, but did anybody with a reasonable football brain think this was going to go any differently? Did anybody think a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers was going to go on to the Jets and just
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted.
solve all their issues?
I'm so happy about it, dude. Like honestly, the Patriots, I want them to not win as many games. I want them to still have a top 5 draft pick. I want a good receiver. I think we got our quarterback. I liked what Drake May has done, and he's got room for improvement. Um, they just need weapons and better offensive line, and I think the Patriots will be a decent team moving forward. So I want they have a lot of off-season money that they can spend, and so I'm just kind of waiting for that. They are going to have to fill up the defense a little bit now because they did just trade Uchi, as I said, that had a potential going to the Lions, but or not the Lions.
He went to the
Was
he
the
went to
Lions?
the Chiefs. Went
But
to the
no,
Chiefs.
who lost Aiden Hutchinson? Why am I blanking on the team?
Lions. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So your face made it seem like I was saying something wrong. Yeah. So there was potential that he could have gone there, but no, he did go to the Chiefs, which just stacks them up even more. Again, how can they afford players? I don't know. They got him for a steal. They got him for a sixth a sixth round draft pick, not next year, but 2026.
Yeah. Though that's one of those players, which one of those like value picks where you're like, how was 30 other teams not trying to get this guy? That just
In
seems
my
like a
opinion, yeah.
weird, even if a depth like piece, like for a 6 round pick, that's a guy can play. I mean, what they say after the 3rd round, it's like a question mark if that person ever steps on the field. But last thing about Aaron Rodgers Casino, I saw this on our Twitter. Also, go follow us, the Sportscast, or the only Sportscast on Twitter. Go follow us over there. So this was posted by NFL on CBS. Most wins for a Jets/Giants quarterback since start of last season. You have Tyrod Taylor and Trevor Siemian tied at 2. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Tommy DeVito tied at 3. So Aaron Rodgers has as many wins as DeVito and Jones. And then there is one quarterback who has 4 wins
That
since
motherfucker.
boom. There he is. There he is. Our Lord and Savior, Zach Wilson. Also, if you look at, I don't know if you can see the cursor on the screen, but if you look at Sanders down here, or Saunders, I mean, he made a good point on this reply right here. One of Rodgers' wins was the 4-play game that Wilson finished, the Monday Night Football game, that Rodgers got knocked out of. They were down 10 and still won that game with Zach at the helm. So really, you can actually give that win to Zach Wilson and take one away from Aaron Rodgers, which means he has as many wins as Tyrod Taylor and Trevor Siemian. And Zach Wilson has 5 wins with the Jets because you switch those, obviously. So maybe Zach Wilson, moving off Zach Wilson for Aaron Rodgers, maybe not the best idea. But yeah. Now, Casino, we can move on to well, we talked about your team. Let's talk about my team. The Eagles, not only did they beat the Bengals, they absolutely dominated and destroyed them. The game was not even close. Literally after the first Bengals drive, it was just an Eagles blowout. The
I want to go give Joe Burrow a hug.
The Eagles win 37-17. Wasn't even close. Joe Burrow had he had an okay game. He was 26 for 37, 234, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception honestly wasn't his fault. It was like a fluke where the Isaiah Rodgers hits the ball midair and it kind of just falls into the arms of Chauncey Gardner-Green. So that was a fluke that I won't blame him for. But other than that, the Bengals team, it's all about their defense and how they just can't stop anybody. And also, they only gave up 1 sack to Burrow, but he was under consistent pressure. Basically,
he has been. Game. He has been his entire career at Cincinnati.
Well,
get him out of there.
It was a microcosm of every issue wrong with the Bengals is ever since Joe Burrow got drafted there, which is they can't protect him, they can't give him time to throw, and then their defense can't stop anybody. Because the Eagles, I saw even from the harshest critics after this game, the Eagles were basically A+ in every category in this game, from special teams to offense to defense. Jalen Hurts, this was like...
I told you, Saquon, you're going to break out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Saquon, he had 22 carries, 108 yards, but this really felt like the Jalen Hurts game. He was just, that deep throw to Devontae Smith for the touchdown was the longest completed pass of his career, and an absolute beautiful, perfect throw that if Mahomes made that throw, it would have been number 1 on SportsCenter all night, and everybody would be talking about how it's the greatest throw they've ever seen. But yeah, now all of a sudden, I know there's a bunch of NFL pundits who were on TV just being like, Eagles are, oh my God, the funk from last year, they're dead, all this kind of stuff. Well, now all of a sudden they're 5-2. They're basically a dropped Saquon pass away from being 6-1. And now, especially in an NFC that Buccaneers lost pretty much all their weapons, Lions lost their edge rusher on an already struggling defense. Eagles offense is now getting everybody back. Their defense is now top 5 in almost every category. Here come the Eagles, where the rest of their schedule also is very, very winnable, very doable. They don't really have many tough games left in terms of let me see. Oh, why is that not popping up? They have... Why is this not popping up, Casino? I know they have this coming week, they're playing the Jaguars, and they're wearing their Kelly Green, which is maybe the most beautiful jersey in the NFL. But they're playing the Jaguars, then they're at Dallas. They do a short week against Washington, which I'm scared about. But then they go Rams, Ravens, which is probably their that hardest stretch is right there. Week 11, 12, and 13, where they go Thursday night, then Sunday night, then Sunday day. But again, it's against Commanders, Rams, Ravens back to back. But then they finish the season. They go Panthers, Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. So Giants and Panthers are basically guaranteed wins. They probably split with either the Cowboys or Commanders. So right there, they're a 5-2 team with maybe 1, possibly 2 games they definitely lose, and then everything else is up in the air. So all of a sudden, pretty dangerous, Casino. And they definitely will on Thursday now be in my top 10 because I said this was the game I needed them to show me something. And I was basically impressed with everything I saw from them. No complaints whatsoever. All right, now we move on to the next game, Casino, which is Ravens at Browns. The now 2-6 Cleveland Browns win against the now 5-3 Baltimore Ravens, 29-24. It's crazy what happens when the Browns have an actual passing attack. Jameis Winston, 27 for 41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Nick Chubb is back. I know they're 2-6, but how dangerous now are the Browns with that elite defense and an actual passing attack?
They'll roll off some games. They're still too far out to make a playoff run. I'm assuming. You know, 6 losses, like you pretty much just have to have a clean slate from here on out to have a shot to make the playoffs. They can be an upset team though. They can be a team that comes in and messes with people, like what they just did to the Ravens. You know, we've been worried about the Ravens defense for a bit, and the Browns did great. Um, but I want to ask you something. How much of this do you think was just the city? Because it was in Ohio. Do you think that the Cleveland fans just rallied behind this team because they got Winston out, or they got Watson out? Winston came in. They have their running back. So how much of this do you think was just there's so much energy about the change
Yeah,
um,
I
that they
think
wanted to be an upset team against the right? Like it was, all the writing was on the wall for this game for them to come and win this game. Obviously, I'm still surprised that the Ravens lost the game, but to make it at least a good game, and obviously they inevitably won it, but
yeah.
everything was on the wall for them to come out and do well. The motivation was there, and they played well.
Well, you nailed it when you said they're too far out to make the playoffs, but they can still be a spoiler team, and that is never more evident than when you look at their upcoming schedule because it looks like one of the hardest
Yeah,
remaining schedules
and
in the league.
and you know what's crazy is like this game, like this game was a really good game, man. There was one fumble law, and it was actually one turnover, and that was on Cleveland. They had the same amount of penalties. Like it came down to third down efficiency, and the Browns were just phenomenal. They went 8 for 15 on that, which is really good. Um, but I mean, really, Lamar did not play well, or not did not play bad. He was 23 for 38, 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, protected the football. But Jameis Winston, man, coming in, throwing it for 41 times, hitting 27 as targets for about 334 and 3 touchdowns, no
Also,
interceptions.
no interceptions for him is like the craziest stat ever.
I know. So we talked about it plenty, and I will brief it again right now. One of my favorite quarterback stories of all time was when he went 30 for 30. I thought that was the coolest thing. That was freaking great.
Yeah.
They need to
He
make it 30 for 30 on his 30 for 30.
Well, he did have the one fumble, so he wasn't turnover free. He still turned the ball over, but it's much more
Interception.
fun when he throws 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Those are
Dude.
much more fun games.
I mean, and yeah, it was great. Tillman almost had 100. He was yards shy of 100 yards, but he still had the 2 touchdowns. Chubb, only got 52 yards, but he's coming back from injury. Henry only got 73 yards, so the run defenses, they stood up. They did what they needed to do. Zay Flowers had another over 100-yard game, which great for him. I'm liking his story this year. He's doing really, really well over in Baltimore, and I like that. Um,
Yeah. But again, the issue we've always said with Baltimore is just their defense can't stop anybody. And I
it's true.
mean, Jameis Winston, again, we always see that thing where the good quarterback who's been on the bench comes in and has like the great game right away. But I also think when they play at the end of the season, it's going to be more of the same. Like this Ravens defense is just, I would dare say, abysmal. Can I use the word abysmal? Right now, they
They're
are
soft,
26th. They're 26th ranked in the entire NFL. So they're a bottom
soft,
5 defense in
soft.
almost every category. Casino quoting his coach. But that is what I had for best of the week, Casino. Now let's move on to worst of the week. And I only have 4 of these as well. Cardinals at Dolphins. This was the worst of the week, just strictly for Tua coming back, looking pretty good, and then having a pretty damn good game. And then they
He had
still
a great
lose
game, actually.
to the Cardinals, who surprisingly Cardinals 4-4. And again,
They're just scrappy fun. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. I don't expect them to do anything like that.
well, also, they're the team when I pick them to win, they lose, and when I pick them to lose, they win. So the 4 times I picked them to win, they've lost, and the 4 times I picked them to lose, they win. So that's fun because I said it on the episode when we were doing our picks. I was like, I like the Cardinals in this game, but if I pick them, I know they'll lose, so I'm just going to pick the Dolphins and they'll still probably win, which is what happened. But Tua came back. The funny thing from this game was he broke off that long run and then he actually slid before any of the defenders were around him, and like the crowd erupted like he just completed a 50-yard Hail Mary pass. So when your quarterback's running around the field and everyone in the stadium is terrified
You
for
want
him,
to say hi to Uncle BJ? Say hi.
probably
Hey.
Say hi, BJ.
Hi, BJ.
Say hi, fam.
uh,
Hi, Vince.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
But yeah, always a good sign when your quarterback, your crowd is so terrified that literally when you don't get hit, the crowd is erupting in in celebration. But much like the Browns, I think the Dolphins are too far out to do anything. 2-5. At least they already had their bye, so they're technically a game behind, but yeah, I don't know. From what we saw from this Dolphins team, Casino, I don't think what is it? Tua coming back will solve, I don't want to say all their issues. It'll solve some of them definitely, which has been their abysmal quarterback play.
Zero.
But yeah, I still have no faith in this team. However, much like the Browns, they do feel like they're just going to be a continuous spoiler for everyone here. They're now here is the thing. Their offense is 27th ranked in the league. 29th in the league of in terms of passing
Mhm.
because they haven't had Tua, but they do have a top 3 defense. So even with Tua out, their defense was still pretty great. And dare I say elite. And then with Tua coming
Hmm.
back, I don't know. Crazier things have happened, Casino. If would you be shocked if in 3 weeks all of a sudden the Dolphins are 3-3? I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
I would be. I would be.
And then as far as the Cardinals go, all of a sudden, the NFC West is now like a 3-team race, or actually a 4-team race. The
It's
Cardinals,
every single team. Yeah.
the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Seahawks are 4-4. The Rams beat the Vikings on a game we're about to talk about, and then they are now 3-4, getting Cooper Kupp back, getting
Puka
Puka
Nacua.
Nacua back, not trading Cooper Kupp anywhere. So
My dinner goes, who's Pua Pua?
actually, let's talk about that game, Casino. Thursday night, the Vikings were at the Rams and they got upset by that same Rams team. Puka Nacua, again, one of
Wow.
those things that
Okay, and you know what? No, I stand by that. I thought TJ Hawkinson was coming in, but Pua is a player. He's a football player. Anyway, so I thought that TJ Hawkinson was coming back. They decided to activate him the next day. So they did that on Friday. They
Yep.
gave but that was a last second thing that they did.
well,
Um,
also last second that Puka
Ye
Nacua played.
yeah, so you know what? We were on the fence about this, and
Mhm.
you told me, "No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have." Yeah, I probably would have picked the Rams if TJ Hawkinson wasn't coming back in and if Puka Nacua was. Because again, all the things that we talked about, short week, played the Lions previously. Like those are all like the Lions, anybody who plays the Lions after them, they're nobody's won. So
Yeah.
it was that Niners thing that happened, last year or what was it, 2 years ago, whatever. So I would have picked the Rams if I knew Puka Nacua was coming back. But I thought it was switched where I thought the Vikings were going to get a player and they were not. But oh man, Puka Nacua, he had 7 receptions, 106 yards, outstanding. Matthew Stafford, he's so fun to watch. I love
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. I just rewatched that highlight of him when he was playing for the Lions where he got everybody up to the line, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna spike it. We're gonna spike it.
Oh,
Let's
and
go.
he
Let's
just
go.
jumps over the
Eat your
line?
ass," and he just grabs it and just yeah, like
Yeah.
It fooled everybody. It fooled his entire team, I believe. Like it was It was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was outstanding. I really like Matthew Stafford. I thought that was fun. And Sam Darnold didn't play bad, man. This is a
No,
good
he
game.
I'll tell you what, the Vikings had a pretty good game, and then they had
Jefferson had another 115-yard game.
the controversy coming out of this game was in the fourth quarter, the Rams get a safety on one of the
Oh, yeah.
most egregious face masks you're ever gonna see. So I
So he was
asked the
looking at his
question.
ear hole.
Yeah, there and again, the memes have already started. They've kind of already ended because this happened on Thursday, but all the referees were literally standing around him, and you can see
There's a
every
there
angle.
is a great still photo shot of one of the refs, that was in the back of the end zone staring directly at the play, and you see the hand, like, just gonna kinda turn it this way, so the ref's looking right here, and it's the hand right in the mask.
Uh,
Like,
yeah,
how do you not call that? I mean, the only contact was the hand to the face, was face mask. It wasn't like, "Oh, he went down because it was also like a body shot or this or that." The only reason Sam Darnold went down is because of that. And you know what's really funny? I will say this. Is this is just me being my brain how it was working is I was like, when I first saw it, I go, damn, that sucks for Cousins. Man, I can't believe Cousins got his head turned around like that. I still think the quarterback of the Vikings is Kirk Cousins. Like
yeah.
it just
I mean, Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, I've never seen them in the same room together. They could still be the same person. But also, I've seen a thing floating around online about how the Commanders Bears game ended and there was a bunch of holds on that play, but they
Okay.
didn't call it
You know
because it
what?
would decide the game.
I don't think that there was holds. I don't. Um The block in the back, though, I think that was a block in the back.
Yeah.
So
Well, but
I don't agree with everybody saying, "Oh, the holds this and this." Not me because I'm like a Washington fan. Um, I'm glad they didn't make the hold calls, but that was a clear block in the back as he had straight line to Jaden Daniels right before he threw it, and yeah, that
But see, that's one of those things where it's last play of the game. It's a Hail Mary. Like, I understand not calling it there. This was the play that inadvertently ended the game, but it was also like if they would have given him that penalty, it would have been like 15 yards. They would have been at what? The probably 25-yard line, and they still had to go 70 yards and score a touchdown. Like, it's not like this call would have, you know, ended the game for the Rams on a penalty. It literally just would have given the Vikings like a shot to not even win the game, to go like tie it. So that's why I think this was again,
even with the conversion.
well, yeah, they would have to go down, get a touchdown, and then get a 2-point conversion to send the game to overtime. So that's why I think this one was so egregious, where it just took away like the chance to even try to win the game, not like a last play of the game and this either ends it or wins it for him. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where the difference is. But now, Casino, we move on to we already are in the worst of the week. Vikings Rams was worst of the week just for that call, which was egregious. But we already talked about this one briefly. Casino won his blowout of the game or blowout of the week. Detroit Lions 52, Tennessee Titans 14. I mean, that Viking or that Titans defense was number one all season. And then boy, did they get, I mean, kind of put in their place to where they rightfully should be, because them having the number one defense as a 1-6 team did feel
And you know,
kind of,
the best part about this is Jared Goff only had to throw the ball 15 times.
yeah, he only what? He only had 80 yards, I believe. 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. The weirdest part of this game was Jahmyr Gibbs had over 100 yards, but it was mostly special teams.
Yeah,
Like
it was all
every
special teams.
every punt return or kick return was just like returned 80 yards. This was a weird blowout to watch, because it's like the stats you're looking at and you're like, how did this team blow out the other team? But it was basically, yeah, all kick return yards. on punts and returning kicks. So and then again, Mason Rudolph, 2 interceptions. I mean, nothing really to talk about this game. That's what's in worst of the week casino. Next
Fair,
up,
fair.
we already talked about it. Colts Texans. Texans barely squeak it out. Both of these teams, I mean, are drastically different after this game. No Stephon Diggs, and now Flacco's starting. So also Flacco's starting for the Colts in kind of a division they can still win. Right now, they're 2 games back of the Texans. But again, we've talked about the Texans. And if you look at kind of the side-by-side comparison, their defenses are very similar. The Texans have scored like 10 more points than the Texans have all season. So I don't know. These 2 teams, it's kind of a 2-man race in the AFC South, but Colts still have a chance now, especially with Flacco Elite. Last game, casino,
Whoop, whoop.
that I wanted to talk about was last night's game. Oh, no, wait, no, hold on. Last of the worst of the week was Cowboys 49ers.
Loved
I
it.
mean, 49ers, again, the Cowboys always make the game look like it was closer than it actually was because they get garbage points. In the fourth quarter, they basically put up 14 points when the game was already over. This game was basically 30-10 when San Francisco took their foot off the gas. Brock Purdy now 4-0 in his career against the Cowboys.
I love it.
Purdy had a decent game. They had Garandu. I don't know, like their third string running back come in and be their leading rusher. So is there now with the NFC West casino just being a 4-team race, who you taking out of it when it comes to the Niners, the Seahawks, the Rams, or the Cardinals?
Oh man, I don't know. I truly don't know. I mean, because now you got Cutback and you got Puka Nacua, so they can rattle off some wins and get up there tied up. The Cardinals are feisty, but I just don't think that they have what it takes to win the division out of the other teams. I still like Brock Purdy. I mean, Kittle's doing good, and Debo's coming back, and from his pneumonia. I mean, he looked good. How about that one catch that he had where he had to reach back and get it? Outstanding. I mean, that's pretty much all he did all night. But still,
I
think the Niners will still get it done.
I think honestly, just based on the players and the defenses they have, I think my dark horse pick is going to be the Rams. I think they do it.
I mean,
think the Rams are good. I don't trust the Cardinals defense. I like the Seahawks. I don't trust their defense at all. The 49ers are just like bit by the injury bug. And I would love nothing more for them to miss the playoffs and it be the Rams instead. So I'm rooting for the Rams the rest of the season, except when they play the Eagles in a couple weeks. But now we move on quickly to the rest casino.
Don't worry, I sent my wife to Target. You're good.
There we go. Let's just get like 1 sentence things for all these just little breakdowns of the game. Falcons at Bucks. What'd you see?
Falcons at Bucks. That I was actually more impressed with how the Bucks played without 2 top receivers. But the Falcons are still going to win that division.
Yeah, pretty much exactly how I feel.
Cousins had 4 touchdowns, dude. He went 23 for 29, 4 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, he did have 2 interceptions, but he had to throw the ball 50 fucking times. So,
and this was also like I said, the Eagles played a perfect game. This was a perfect game for what the Falcons, for what you want to see. Kirk Cousins throws 4 interceptions. Kyle Pitts has 2 touchdowns, and Bijan Robinson is the leading rusher and has over 100 yards rushing and receiving from scrimmage with a touchdown. So Cousins performs. Kyle Pitts looks like how everyone always expected him to look. And then Bijan Robinson has a pretty great game. Like, this is Atlanta Falcons wet dream right here. Next up, casino, Bills at Seahawks, a game I was excited for that was kind of just bleh.
What I said it was going to be.
Bleh. Yeah, I'm out. My Seahawks are officially dead in my book. Out of my top 10. Everybody was right. Everybody was right.
I mean, the leading rusher was Geno Smith with 16 yards. They're done.
Yeah.
They were cooked. as in James Cook, who had 2 touchdowns on 111 yards. Boom, boom. Let's go.
Yeah. Bills, I would say the takeaway from the Bills is they look like they have found an actual rushing offense. Their defense looks like it's figuring it out. And then Josh Allen playing like Josh Allen. So now all of a sudden, Bills are 6-2, and they kind of look like they are what everyone expected them to be, which was like a dark horse Super Bowl team. So maybe Bills Eagles Super Bowl, I think, would be my dream right now. I think I would love, or no, my dream obviously is the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl against anybody and win. But if I take the Eagles out of it, I think we can both agree Lions Bills Super Bowl.
I would like that because there's a lot of Bills fans that I know that I actually like. And again, Bills are the one team out of my division, the Patriots division, where I'm just like, they can win. I don't care.
Yeah. Actually, my dream Super Bowl is a rematch with Eagles Chiefs where Eagles beat them this time. That's my dream. But next up, Casino, Packers Jaguars. The thing coming out of this game is the Packers win 30-27. Now the Packers are 6-2, but
2 weeks in a row on that kick.
Yeah. Jordan Love gets knocked out of the game. Malik Willis comes in.
Malik the Freak.
56 yards, 1 touchdown. He
ran for 23 yards. Malik the Freak.
I'll tell you what, he actually looks pretty good. But Josh Jacobs, what a resurgence, what a pickup. Like, he has completely reinvigorated himself from going from LA to Green Bay, because he looks, again, like one of the top 5 best running backs in the league. But yeah, the Packers again win on this one was only 24 yards, but still, Packers again win on a kick against a Jaguars team that, Trevor Lawrence probably had his best game of the season, but they just feel like they're missing something. They feel like their coaching is just all over the place, and now they're 2-6 going to play my Kelly Green Eagles. Next up, Saints at Chargers. Chargers absolutely destroy them 26-8.
Manhandle.
Chargers now 4-3, sneaky playoff team. Yeah, I like this Chargers. I like their defense. I like now all of a sudden it looks like Herbert is getting let to play quarterback now and is just slinging it all over.
Right.
I'm kind of into it. I kind of like how the Chargers.
Oh, you finally like Herbert? Okay.
Yeah, I like him under Harbaugh. Now, contention. What the number 2 contention for blowout of the week, Casino, which we debated, was the Denver Broncos against the Carolina Panthers. And Dalton and his family got in a car accident that messed up his thumb on his throwing hand. So that meant that they're all okay. But that meant that Bryce Young got back into the game as the starter. He went 24 for 37, 224, 2 touchdowns.
The turnovers.
Again, didn't really show anything. But I'll tell you what.
Bo Nix?
I kind of like Bo Nix. Bo Nix is good. Honestly, if we just take out like all the Caleb Williams, like love on his team, he might be the second best quarterback in the league right now. Or rookie quarterback, I should say. Oh, Casino's light died. He's got 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
I don't know how long ago that happened. I just noticed. I looked because it's out of battery. Go charge it. Have fun.
But he also has 4 rushing touchdowns.
Go play with some wires.
He has 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Bo Nix looks good.
I thought you would laugh at that. You didn't.
What?
Just telling my daughter to go play with some wires and electricity.
No, I'm used to you telling her that. But next up, let's go. We got 2 games. Chiefs Raiders. This game, again, weird, 27-20. Mahomes had one of his best games of the season, which wasn't even that good. He was 27 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'll tell you what, the Chiefs won, but only winning by 7 against this Raiders team. Maybe there is something to the Raiders being like, we have the recipe to beat Mahomes, because he seems to struggle against the Raiders the last couple times more than anybody. You're on mute.
Or the Chiefs are not good and they get helped out.
Yeah, but even in this game, like there was that egregious like flopping call that Mahomes got, but that's not like it decided the game or anything. What decided the game, of course, was Travis Kelsey catching a pass and
Still not
basically
over 100
winning the
yards.
game. Yeah, and again, Xavier Worthy targeted 8 times, 4 receptions, 37 yards. But yeah, if you can score on this Chiefs team, I think if you can get
The ball out of Mahomes' hands, you're good.
yeah, if you can
Run the clock.
control the clock and get like 4 touchdowns, if you get to up to 30, I think you can win against the Chiefs. I really think that's the recipe. Now, nobody's been able to get to 30. That's the issue because their defense is so good. But there's gonna be a fluke game in there where one team gets up 30 and the
Yeah,
Chiefs
it's called the
can't.
Super Bowl when the Lions put up 60.
Oh, bold prediction. Dude, if that happens, I'm saving this clip. But yeah, something weird's going on here with the Chiefs. Again, they're 7-0 and also last year when the Eagles were undefeated for 10 weeks and everybody was like, this is the worst 10-0 team you've ever seen. There's something off with them. They're winning games really weirdly. That discussion's not being had at all against this Chiefs team, and this Chiefs team
Hey,
looks
you know
way
what?
worse
This
than
Chiefs
the Eagles.
team, they're undefeated, but there's something wonky about them.
Thank you, Casino. Thank you. Finally, somebody said it. Somebody said it. But now we move on to Giants and Giants at Steelers last night, Monday Night Football. Casino and I, we might have been wrong.
Oh, there was
about
a game
the
last
whole-
night?
There was. We might have been wrong about the whole Russell Wilson thing because he looks pretty damn good. And last night he goes 20
Oh, my
for
son's up.
28, 278 yards, 1 touchdown. The Steelers are 6-2. They look like they finally have a passing attack. Giants aren't good. Everybody knew they weren't good, and they still thought they were going to beat the Eagles. How pathetic. But 26-18. My question coming to you, Casino, is did you see the George Pickens catch where he technically didn't get 2 feet down, but he got the same foot down twice? So is 2 feet down when you've clearly secured the catch, but it's both of 1 foot?
I've always thought it had to
in
be
your book?
one of each.
See, that's I don't know, but when you watch this, I'll show you the catch. It does look like he just caught it. Like it looks like a catch. I don't know. I think it's again, but that just seems like such a weird asterisk. Like either one of each foot or the same foot twice, because it is 2 separate taps, and he has control of the ball the whole time. I don't know. Looks like a catch to me. But that was a weird game last night. A lot of calls, a lot of touchdown calls that came back, a lot of catches that weren't catches, a lot of weird plays. But again, Steelers pretty much controlled the whole game, 26-18. Daniel Jones had a chance to make it interesting and immediately throws an interception. So, same old Jets, same old Giants.